Good morning and welcome students in the social science class. We are discussing the lesson 13 of the history and the name of the lesson is the Delhi Sultanate. In previous video we have already discussed about the slave dynasty whose founder was the Qutbuddin Aibak and also the Khalji dynasty whose founder was Jalaluddin Khalji and their importance facts. So today we will continue our chapter with the Tughlaq dynasty. So let's start it. Alauddin Khalji was defeated and murdered by the Ghazi Malik, who took the name of the Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq and became the Sultan in 1320 CE. So last ruler of the Khalji dynasty, Alauddin Khalji, was murdered by the Ghazi Malik, one of the noble of Alauddin Khalji, and before conquering the throne he changed his name and he took the new name, that is the Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. So the founder of the Tughlaq dynasty was Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, and on his name this dynasty came to known as Tughlaq dynasty. So Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq was a great warrior and an able administrator. He rose from an ordinary position to a high position of governor of the frontier provinces. He consolidated the scattered sultanate and restored peace and order as the whole country was in grip of the unrest and unlaw. But he was also a kind ruler, and to improve the condition of the peasant, he withdrew some of the taxes imposed on them. And he died in an accident when a pandal set up for his welcome fell on him. And it is said that it was the result of the conspiracy hatched by his own son, Juna Khan, who is popularly known as the Muhammad bin Tughlaq in the Indian history or the medieval history. So, for the early occupation of the throne, Juna Khan or the Muhammad bin Tughlaq killed or murdered his father. So now we will discuss about the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He was the eldest son of the Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq and he took many steps to consolidate the Sultanate. Even he opposed the interference of the ulemas in the matter of the state and he took many steps to consolidate the Sultanate. So first step he took, that was the transfer of the capital from Delhi to Devgiri. He changed his capital from Delhi to Devgiri. Devgiri is in Maharashtra. And he made this change to avoid the attacks of the Mongols and to exercise the better control on the Deccan. But in the absence of transport facility, it caused many hardship. Many people died on the way to Devgiri, which was 950 kilometers away from the Delhi. And on the other hand, his absence from the north, it encouraged the frequent attacks from the Mongol. And after 5 years of transfer capital from Delhi to Devgiri, Muhammad bin Tughlaq gave up on his idea and he ordered to retreat, and Delhi became once again the capital of the Sultanate. He again changed the capital from Devgiri to Delhi. And this caused the greater hardship to the people of the Delhi. And after this, he again made another step to consolidate his sultanate. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq wanted to increase his military power to conquer more and more territories and cover the loss of all previous projects. He imposed or enhanced tax in Doab area at 50% of the produce. The peasants who had recently suffered due to the widespread famine were stunned by the order and many farmers gave up cultivation and their land lay barren. And this project also ended in an utter failure when Muhammad bin Tughlaq realized his mistake. He not only withdrew his orders but also extended help to the farmer to resume cultivation. After this, his another next step was to introduce of the token currency. Because of the failure of his project, his treasure were empty, and then he thought of issuing token currency of copper instead of the silver coin. So here is the token currency which was issued by the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and this currency was of copper instead of the silver coin. But due to increased circulation of these coins, he had to withdraw his order and he asked people to exchange their coin with the silver coin, and this caused a heavy loss to the royal treasury. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a mixture of opposites. He was a great scholar but lacked common sense. He was harsh as well as liberal, and during his last days, he had to face many rebellion in different parts of his sultanate. Because Muhammad bin Tughlaq had no son, his cousin Firoz Tughlaq was made the sultan after his death. And after becoming the sultan, he adopted a policy of appeasing the nobles and ulemas. He imposed jizya on Hindus. Jizya is a tax that was paid by the non-Muslim, means it was only paid by the Hindus. He also constructed many canals and tanks for the irrigation, and land revenue was reduced. He opened schools and gave grant to the scholars to promote the literary activities. He also considered himself a servant of the god and changed the policy of Alauddin Khilji and Muhammad bin Tughlaq of separating religion from the administration. He also laid 1200 fruit gardens around Delhi and founded new cities like Hisar, Jonapur, Firozapur, and he got Sanskrit texts translated into Persian language. And after Firoz Shah Tughlaq, the last ruler of the Tughlaq dynasty was Nasiruddin Tughlaq. He was the last ruler of this dynasty, and during his time, Timur Lenk invaded India and took away a large amount of the wealth. He also took with him many Indian artisans for decorating his capital at Samarkand. The Sultanate lasted only up to 1412 CE after Timur invasion till Nasiruddin died. Later it got divided into many small kingdoms. Daulat Khan and Amir was appointed as the ruler of the Delhi. And after this dynasty, a new dynasty come to existence which is known as the Sayyid dynasty. It was the fourth dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate and it was founded by the Khizr Khan. But this dynasty had a very short life. Four rulers of this dynasty ruled up to 1451 CE, and after it, the Bahlol Lodi, who was an Afghan, attacked on Delhi and occupied the Delhi throne. So, next dynasty is the Lodi dynasty. Lodi dynasty was founded by the Bahlol Lodi. He was an Afghan and it ruled from 1451 to 1453 526, and after the Lodi dynasty, the period of the Mughal start in India. So Bahlol Lodi was an able and competent general. He did not rule like a sultan but a feudal lord, Samvad, and to please his nobles, he declared that he was one among them. He suppressed the revolt in Doab, and his rule extended from Punjab to some part of the Bihar. And after him, his son succeeded his throne, whose name was Sikandar Lodi. He was generous toward the Muslim and ulemas, and he helped many poor Muslims by giving them the money and also giving them the money to the widow for the marriage of their daughter. But he destroyed many temples and construct mosques in their place. The religious policy of the Sikandar Lodi toward the Hindus was very harsh and intolerant, and he also reimposed jizya on the Hindus. And he also found the new cities of the Agra in 1506 and made it his capital. And after Sikandar Lodi, Ibrahim Lodi became the ruler of the Delhi Sultanate from 1570 to 26 CE. So he became the Sultan after his father Sikandar Lodi, and he was an intelligent and brave ruler. In his time, Babur invaded India and met Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of the Panipat in 1526. Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi, and this marked the end of Lodi dynasty from the Delhi and beginning of the Mughal rule in India. So now we will discuss about the governance during the Sultanate period. So we will start with the administration. So in administration, the Sultan dominated the central government because king was the head of the state, and he appointed many ministers for his help to run the administration like Diwane Wazarat, Diwane Diwane Inza, etc. Society, economy, and religion. The Indian society was divided into mainly two classes. One was the Hindu and another was the Muslim. The Muslim were the ruling class in the Islamic State, and they were divided many mainly into two sects. One was the Sunni and another one the Shia. The Muslim enjoy a higher economic status during the Sultanate period, but the condition of the woman was not good. And Hindu formed a large majority of the total population of the country, but economically backward, and they were not given the high post. And the Hindu society was based on the caste. And if we talk about the economy during the time of the Delhi Sultanate, so most of the people were engaged in the agriculture, which was depended on rain. However, canals, tanks, and the well were also used for irrigation. Firoz Tughlaq constructed many canals that proved helpful for the agriculture, but the farmer led a life of the poverty and the misery. And the main industry were spinning, weaving, sugar produce, handicraft, pottery, and the jewelry. And if we talk about the religion, so during this period, Hindu was the dominated religion. It was followed by the majority of the people, and the Hindu followed Vaishnavism and Shaivism. Jainism and Buddhism were also practiced by some people, and Islam was mainly brought to India by the Muhammad Ghazni and the Muhammad Ghori, and they believed in one God where Hindu worshipped many gods. Language and literature. So during this period, Khari Boli and Braj Bhasha become the literary language, as a prose and poetry was written in this language. And another hand, the Muslim used the mixture of Persian and Arabic in their court. The introduction of the historical literature was important contribution of this time. So Ziauddin Barni, who write a book, was a famous book, Tarikh-e-Firoz Shahi, and Amir Khusro was the well-known literary genius of this period. And he was not only an outstanding poet but also a music composer and historian. And also many local language like Bengali, Gujarati were also used in some part of the Sultanate. And many Indian classical were also translated in Persian, Turkish and the other language. And last point is art and architecture. So during Delhi Sultanate, a new style of the architecture developed with the help of Indian craftsmen. This is also known as the Islamic architecture, and its impact is clearly visible in the monuments of that period. The earliest example of this architecture is Qutub Minar or Quwwatul Islam in Delhi, or the Dhai Din Ka Jhompda, etc. They were constructed by the Qutubuddin Aibak, the first Sultan of the Delhi Sultanate, and he died quite early. So Qutub Minar was completed by the Iltutmish. And Alauddin Khalji extended the Quwwatul Islam Mosque and built Alai Darwaja near. This is a photo of the Alai Darwaja near it, and this is very decorative and impressive gateway with an arc. This is called the arc. This one. So that's it. This is the end of the chapter. I hope the chapter is clear to you. So thank you and have a good day to all of you.